Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video episode on the Forgotten Weapons Library. I'm Ian, and the book we're taking a look at today is the military Remington Rolling Block rifle by George Layman. This is the 4th edition of this book, and relatively small, but a good introductory guide to the Remington Rolling Block. We don't normally think of Remington as being a major military supplier, but in the last half of the 1800s, Remington actually was providing military arms to a massive proportion of the world. The Remington Rolling Block was a hugely popular rifle in Europe and especially in South America, and Remington sold literally millions of them to national military forces. And at the same time, they actually had a tendency not to put, say, serial numbers or national markings or even caliber markings on a lot of the rifles. So it makes it a little bit difficult, especially for an amateur collector, to figure out what they might actually have. And George Layman's book does a really good job of going through the differences between the different contracts of rolling blocks so that you can take a look at one and actually determine what on earth it really is. All right, so let's take a closer look inside here. As I mentioned, this is the 4th edition, which has some definite improvements over the 3rd edition. Aside from just a brief introduction to the rolling block system, the book starts out with a description of the various export models in general. Going to go on. We have a section on the distinctive cosmetic features of the different rolling blocks. Things like different patterning on the hammer, different types of hammers. The sights in particular are a way to distinguish between different models of the rolling block. I have an interesting section here actually on advertising literature that Remington put out, because of course they were advertising this for decades, both military and civilian models. It's kind of funny, in their military publication they often refer to the rolling block as being far simpler than those excessively complicated bolt action repeaters. They were a much cheaper alternative than the newfangled Mauser and other repeating rifles, but it's really a stretch to say that they're a better military weapon. There is a section in here on shooting the rolling blocks, looking at the different calibers and what's involved in casting bullets and sizing brass for them. It's not helped by the fact that many of the rolling blocks aren't actually marked with a caliber, but good information here for people who want to actually shoot some of these earlier black powder rifles. Then we have a section on the different purchases. In particular, a really cool chart here on all the different countries that purchased rolling blocks and how many and when. Things like, you may not realize that the papacy actually bought several thousand rolling block rifles. They're a very rare example today. And as I mentioned, the 4th edition, this is the extra information in the 4th edition. A bunch of extra material here in the back on a variety of different subjects. Now, when I was going through checking to make sure this was still available before I put together the video, I noticed that it's actually kind of been overtaken by a new version of the book, The Collector's Guide to the Remington Military Rolling Block, also by George Layman and published by Mowbray. I don't have a copy of that to take a look at, but I will go ahead and provide a link to it. Just based on the quality and the information in this version, I have no doubt that that one will be also a very good resource. So if you're only vaguely interested and you can find this 4th edition at a nice cheap price, I think you should definitely go for it. If Remington rolling blocks are a major interest of yours, well, you may already have it, but if not, you should probably be better off getting the newer, the Collector's Guide version of the book. So anyway, we'll have links to both where you can pick them up, and thanks for watching, guys. Tune back into ForgottenWeapons.com for more book reviews.